Beep beep boop boop. Beep beep.
Bop, beep beep, boop,
Transmission.
boop, boop.
Transmission. This is gonna be a double feature review for two animated robot movies.
Transformers 1 and Wild Robot.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about Transformers 1 first. Alright, so we watched both of these movies on the 21st of September on a Saturday. We made a double feature like we said. And yeah, the first movie is Transformers 1, directed by Josh Cooley, who previously directed Toy Story 4, and it stars, I mean, I don't know if this cast gonna work, but yeah, we're gonna see if it works through our review. It stars Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax, aka
Optimus
Optimus
Prime.
Prime, yes.
Brian Tyree Henry as D16, aka Megatron.
And Scarlett Johansson as Elita 1, Keegan Michael Key as B137, who will become Bumblebee, and other notable voice actors, John Hamm, Steve Buscemi, and many others. So, the elephant in the room first. At least for me, because I don't know if you watch the trailer because you avoid trailers altogether, right? So, the original trailer, I was like, why are you sending? This is like, this is not my exact word, but our sentiment is the same, but I like to use this sentiment from our friend. Like, why are you selling us Taika Waititi level jokes for the first trailer?
So, how long do you think we'll be here? I'm not talking to you.
On three. One. Oh, look at wheels! I need wheels!
Yeah, I prefer Dark World.
Like the mundane things is like, why? How is this Transformers? Like, I don't get it. Like, this is like the both of us just talking, and then there's jokes maybe, and that's it. And that's what they decided to sell the movie.
Yeah, it's good because like there's two sides of Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a really good underground and up and coming fresh news voice, right?
Yes.
Taika Waititi.
Pre-MCU basically.
Yeah, and then that's the MCU one.
Yeah.
And the current one, at least the one that most people know of, you know, for people who didn't watch movies like
Boy, other people, What We Do in the Shadows.
yeah, he's kind of hated at this point, especially after Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of weird. But anyways, the other trailer looks kind of interesting, but I don't like also that it tells a little bit too much of the story. With that said, I think that kind of makes sense because what they're selling here at the same time is an origin story.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that compared to other movies that pretend to be origin story, like the failure that is Monsters University, and I don't know what the heck else I can think of right now. What I like to call fake prequel or a prequel that is not real. What I mean by that is they do not have a set story in mind. They just make up the prequel as if it is how they envision it all along. So when they do go back, it looks like they write new stuff that they haven't thought of, and they fumble their way to the point that they over explain unimportant things like how Captain Marvel, you know, her old call sign is Avenger. So she's like
she's the actual first Avenger.
yeah,
So,
instead of Captain America.
yeah.
And it's kind of dumb. Most of these prequels are a waste of time, but this one is an actual prequel. But mind you, they don't go to the beginning of like all of creation.
Yeah.
From
I mean,
how things are created from the old spark. It just pick the beginning of the characters that we actually care about, which is Optimus Prime and Megatron. By the time we pick up the story, it is straight up the beginning of Optimus Prime when he started as a minor, which is supposed to be like a minor change.
It's a I think it's a retcon because the original pitch was quite fantastical and time consuming to make logistically. So I think going for this with the story of a simple underdog going through obstacle, basically hero's journey, is a better sell, a better, introduction maybe for newcomers of the franchise, which is I would like to think we are,
Yeah.
because I reject honestly the Bayformers movies, and I can't even remember what happened in the original Transformers, the movie, the old one. I don't know. I saw it like once or twice on TV, and that I don't remember much what happened there, and I never cared about the Bayformers movies. And this is gonna be hopefully the first of many movies where there is no humans.
So basically, like for the most part, Transformers as they were presented in the past has become convoluted at one point,
Yes.
and it is known for a fact that they all of the Transformers being convoluted, they are all considered canon because these are other versions. So technically, this is a restart in a way to tell the story so we can understand it better. Similar to Mortal Kombat 1, which is like it is saying that okay, we are restarting from the beginning, but we do acknowledge the past.
Yes.
Which is why Liu Kang started off as a god as opposed to Raiden. So in that sense, right, Transformers 1 is kind of like a fresh start, so people who wasn't into Transformers already can get into it without saying that the other things in the past didn't matter. And Bumblebee was supposed to be that reboot, right?
Yeah, it was
But
supposed to be.
it never came to be. Not enough people saw it.
Yeah, but I like how the idea that someone out there in the production team, the writing team was like, hey, what if we make an entire movie, but based on the opening of Bumblebee where they were in Cybertron. And yeah, just make that the movie. This is basically almost like what we got. This is that movie. Like the expansion of that very short montage of Cybertron in Bumblebee.
Okay, back to the story that they decided to go for.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to the beginning of Optimus Prime, as Orion Pax, in the beginning, right?
Yes.
He is already a minor, so to say. The stories before that is not that interesting, right? So they don't waste our time. They start off in the beginning with them, and in terms of the creation stuff, the all spark thing, everything in that story is the ancient history of theirs.
Yes.
So that is why I love this movie, because it's truly trying to take it from the beginning when it starts to matter. And in terms of the progression, I like how it goes straight to Optimus Prime, straight up wanting to know the truth.
Yes.
So Optimus Prime, unlike the other times we've seen him before, we should say Orion Pax for now.
Yeah.
From this point on, because it's like that is who he is. So Orion Pax is not depicted as a heroic character just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He has a purpose,
Yes.
and he wants to uncover the past because the energon flow, which is the essence of life. The entire idea is Sentinel Prime, the hero of the nation, have been going on campaigns to uncover the matrix of leadership that was once a tool used to let the energon flow.
Yeah.
Right? But because of its absence, the miners have to mine it out because it was supposed to flow like the river.
Yeah.
But now they become crystallized and are deep in the core of Cybertron. So what Orion Pax is trying to do is trying to help Sentinel Prime, the hero of the nation, to expedite the search for the matrix of leadership.
Yes.
And this makes him a very likable character because he see a bigger purpose
Yeah.
in life. As a miner, he is unable to transform. He is small and pretty feeble, yet they are doing kind of labor intensive stuff.
Yep.
So there's something to be said about that. It's kind of like
yes.
reminiscent to people who are doing cheap labor
Yeah.
that are scrawny and underfed, even in the the day of slavery and such.
Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison.
And the thing about Orion Pax is even at this point we see his courageous tendencies to like maybe like help Sentinel Prime, right? To uncover the matrix of leadership. He is the protocol breaker in this case. And he is supposed to become
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime later. But it was in contrast to his best friend at this point, D16,
D16.
who is like following protocol to the T and thinks that if he stays with following protocol, he will get somewhere in his life. But as the story progresses, you know why he gradually becomes Megatron.
Yeah. And another stickler for the rules, for another reason, is Elita 1, voiced by Scarlett Johansson. I think she's pretty good in this one, but it's nothing all that unique in terms of performance.
Yeah.
Not just by her, but by the character type. This archetype you see everywhere. So, skip forward. Since Orion Pax have bigger fish to fry, right? At least he thinks so. He deserves something more, right? He decided to join this race that involves Transformers, and this is just like a fun race similar to Formula 1 that we have on this earth.
Oh yeah, the race is called the Iacon 5000 as also sort of like a tribute for the fallen primes that helped shape what the city of Iacon is, which is the capital in Cybertron it is today, despite the lack of energon flowing. But it's still a thriving city at that point, even though there's that problem, right?
Yeah. The thing is too, I know that I said Formula 1, but if you think about it, it's more reminiscent of the Olympics because it's like a tribute to the gods in a way.
This is like that scene in Wonder Woman 89 was, I don't know, the sequel to Wonder Woman, the intro, right? It's that kind of race, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
it's
that
that
race.
kind of race. Yeah.
So this one is to celebrate the primes, the saviors who died trying to keep the world peace and fought off against the unknown invaders,
The Quintessons.
the Quintessons.
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea is he wants to join this race that only involves Transformers. So if he can at least beat one Transformer, he can prove himself to be as capable as them.
And more than meets the eye.
He said it! He said it!
I have to say it.
What is interesting is that when he starts to go of this race, other than he roped a D16 into it without his consent, the others start to get a little bit inspired. Right?
Yes.
You know, like, oh, a fellow minor like me can enter a race like this. And although they did not win, they still got the Sentinel Prime's attention.
Yes.
But a hater, one of the enforcers of the mining encampment, Darkwing, he decided to throw them away. And they stumbled upon B127 voiced by Keegan Michael Key.
Oh yeah.
And you know the joke. So let's not spoil it for people who haven't seen it. So Orion Pax got into a minor accident with one of B127's friend and uncovered
A distress beacon.
so it shows a specific coordinate that probably shows the last battle between the Quintessons and the Primes. So they decided to go there and they get on a train. And that train, they met Elita 1 yet again because of what Orion Pax did in the past in regards to the mining company, which was under the leadership of Elita 1. She is there to take care of the transport of waste, right? So she found that Orion Pax and D16 have snuck into there, and she tried to stop them, tried to get out and warn them, but the scuffle led to them going beyond the city
Yeah.
and got into the outer realm.
The surface, they call it the surface of Cybertron.
Okay, the surface. So that's when the story begins, sort of, because the story already begun, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, when we see in the I saw a bit of the trailers because they did show that part. They start to be able to transform,
Yes.
and with this ability, now they have the confidence to stop the bigger looming threat.
And the build up to that, the conflict, the friendships that is built and deconstructed as you go along to get to that final conclusion that led them to become Autobots and Decepticons. Whew, I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's a pretty familiar story, but I don't know how they managed to like inject something like, I don't know. It's not even new, but the way they weaved it, it feels like they are earnest in trying to rope in new fans for the franchise. Yeah, I mean, what we saw is most of it is completely like cliche to say the least.
Yes.
But the way they the direction of voice acting, the direction of where the story goes, it's quite clean. Yeah.
Let's go for the animation first.
Yes.
The animation to me is so fluid for a 3D movie that it looks like it can override a 2D animation.
Yeah, it does. So the thing about the beauty of the animation, right? So when I saw the trailer of them doing Taika Waititi level flat joke against the animation, it's like a cognitive dissonance. It's like, why is this level of animation wasted on stupid jokes like this that don't mean anything to the general public who don't watch MCU or Taika Waititi movies? Even like when we did Bedah trailer with Bus Pop. So Bedah trailer never really happened. I guess I confused it with my conversation with friends of Bus Pop on our WhatsApp group. But all the same, this is what I think about the first trailer of Transformers 1. Yeah, that's like what everyone was thinking. It was like, what is this trailer? What, this is stupid. It was like, it makes us angry. Like, this is what they want to put forth to expand the franchise further or something. It feels like a stupid effort. And then, oh my god, my worries were like thrown out the toilet because it's just the complete 180 of what we saw in the trailer. Yeah.
And the way he described, I think that was the first trailer.
And the first trailer.
Maybe the one that I saw is the second trailer or something in the cinema itself.
The second trailer makes more sense.
The first trailer, from what I hear, sounds like all of the lines and all of the scenes remain intact. It's just that they are chopped and screwed and put in different weird juxtapositions to make it worse than it actually is.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's like the problem with relying on the wrong people to do trailers.
Yeah.
This is sort of unrelated, but there's like a discussion where this game reviewer of sorts, Luke Stephens, talk about how behind the scenes, despite how people thought of the trailer of this game, Dragon Age Vanguard,
Dragon Age.
right? He said that most of the developers do not appreciate the trailer that came out. That changed the tone of the whole thing. Whether or not that's gonna end up being a good game is another discussion altogether.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like, this is the problem in the general field of filmmaking, where you already have a great product, the movie itself, but then you send off your footage to a marketing company that doesn't understand the language of film. They only understand the language of marketing. They try to make the entire thing look more viable for the general public. But the problem is, most of these products, whether it be games or movies, they already have their core audience. So you need to cater to your core audience. So because of like how it is not already capture the mind of most people, these companies, like for in this case Hasbro, find it problematic that are these the only people that are gonna watch a movie, so they try so hard to make it marketable to as many people as possible, so they hire like a separate company to do the trailers. That's why these trailers are made for attracting, at least hopefully attracting more people than the core audience. And that's why what end up being is the trailer is going to look so much more different than the original movie that is catering to the core audience itself. Like what I say may be a little bit long-winded, but it is important that you understand where I'm getting at, as to say that the trailer is not a good indicator to the quality of the actual movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the best way for you to get to know a movie is through a review. And I'm not even talking about the rating. I'm talking about actually read the reviews, understand it, and therefore make your own conclusion from that.
Yes.
It's either that or just listen to word of mouth. Now the animation, the fight scenes are very violent and it's very good.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it is shown in all of its glory. How many wear and tear and the punches.
And all the wires disconnecting the, all the iron bits all torn up like that.
Like,
Woo!
I appreciate it so much. I love it so much. But here's the inherent problem that I see. Not with this movie, with the industry as a whole. Especially how it is released in mostly conservative regions. Like, for example, in Malaysia. Is this gets away with it because it's robots. These are not biological things with rat blood. You know?
Yes.
So this is kind of like frustrating to me, because if you can show it to this level, why do we need to cut away when it involves human bits?
Yeah.
To me, I wouldn't say semantics, because semantics is words, but let's just say it's semantics. You just change the wires to innards, and you just change the oil
to blood.
to blood. That's it. Why is one not censored, the other is?
Yeah.
So I don't want to focus too much on that.
And dude, if they add oil, it would totally remind me of Samurai Jack.
Oh, did they add oil?
No, they don't. But
Oh, they
I
don't.
was like, when I see it, like the level of violence feels like the episodes of Samurai Jack, which is also for kids, but the way, like, I remember Samurai Jack like slashing these robots and then oil gushing out of the pipes or whatever they call it in robots, right? And then it all flows
Wires and
down.
pipes.
Yeah, flows down on him, it drench him. Like, this is like, oh my god, imagine if this is blood, man. This is cool, man. It's cool imagery, man.
And I know the concern is, kids are gonna watch it. Yeah, kids are gonna watch it. Let them grow up and watch it as an adult, right?
Yes.
So that's why violent things shouldn't be censored, because it's censoring the vision of the director. Okay, but the thing is, this movie did a great job, so I don't want to harp too much on that any further.
Yeah.
But the thing is, each of the movement connects, and it all have rhyme and reason. The momentum is felt, and even the motivation of the characters hitting harder or hitting softer are all well reasoned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking again about more on the animation in terms of like the world building, the world itself, it's very, very well realized. I mean, I am not well versed into the world of Transformers and the lore, so to see it being realized in this fashion, like with these intricate buildings, they even have like upside down buildings, which is part of the, I don't know, the make or the atmosphere of the planet or something. And then they have like this,
At least more of the city.
yeah, mostly. And then when they explore the surface and beyond the city of Icon, so there's like this, like the
The
this
train, is it?
the train and the organic matter surrounding that plane of like the surface, the wilderness of the surface. It was like so beautiful.
Yeah,
Man.
they have
The
like this
emerging.
train that is okay. What I want in the futuristic setting, or at least something that is like kind of try to depict the future, even though technically it's not the future because this is another place. This is like similar to Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away. Supposed to be like in a galaxy far away, there's so much more futuristic. Anything that is futuristic in nature, right? I want them to have what do you call it, technology that makes sense, that is actually applicable. Like for example, the train that keeps moving and the tracks are built as it moves.
Yes.
It kind of remind me of the Unreal Engine 5 Nine Nights. If I'm not clear before, I am a fan of Nine Nights, and I love that. So the train will never fall off in a way, because there is even a sequence where the train hit one of the mountains and there's like a track built to get the train
around.
and back on track.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then it get all the train cars straightened out again. And man, that's so cool. I wish there's something like that in real life so we can avoid more lives lost.
Yeah, and the fact that again,
Potential more life lost.
I have no idea how the biomes of Cybertron work, but yeah, even when they try to incorporate nature, it looks beautiful.
Yes.
The forest and all the like different, I don't know, there's even like a bunch of like these deer like animals which is robotic, just like
Yeah, I like that, but I just want a little bit more variety. There's only one kind of animal shown.
I wish there's more, because there's all that lush forest in Cybertron where the world is very, is a living sentient robots living alongside biological matter, which is an interesting mix, you would say, right?
To me, they should do something more like Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon. I haven't played it, but I know what
Yeah,
you're saying.
the world building in terms of the fauna is very it has a lot of variety. I like that.
And hell, I'm surprised that there's such thing as quintessons. They're like very Zerg like.
Oh yeah, I know nothing
Yeah.
about Quintessence before this movie,
I also don't know anything.
and they look menacing.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they did not focus on the Quintessence in this one.
Yeah.
It's one story at a time. Actually,
Yes.
yeah, it is a
It's one
one core
story.
story. It's just
Yeah.
that this like one side part of the story that is at first depicted as the main thing, but actually the main thing is another thing.
Yeah.
And that another thing is what you wanted to see. Megatron versus Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
That part is freaking awesome.
Ooh, let's finally talk about the characters, I think.
Before that, I wanna talk about the voice acting here.
Yeah, we're going there lah right now.
Alright, okay.
So yeah, the voice acting. So I'm surprised Chris Hemsworth works as Orion Pax. Like everyone doubts him because everyone is so already accustomed to the OG voice actor, right?
When you say like that,
Okay.
it's like you already worried they have like Taika Waititi level jokes, and then
they got
Chris Hemsworth voice it. Oh, I get people's doubts now. Oh my god.
And being Scarlet Agents also being the co-star of Chris Hemsworth in MCU. So yeah, the worry is like there everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth works. He's I would say a worthy successor to Peter Cullen, the OG Optimus Prime.
And then the reason is you have to understand the assignment.
Yeah.
And Chris Hemsworth, just like Keanu Reeves, sometimes they understand their assignment so much they get into the wavelength of the people around them. So if it's in Ghostbusters 2016, he sucks just like the rest of the movie. If it's like Love and Thunder, he sucks just like the rest of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And he was really, really good and like in his native tongue when he did finally as an Aussie.
Oh, Extraction.
He's good. He's great in Extraction. I'm talking about as a funny guy, as Dementus in
Dementus, yes.
in Furiosa. He's really good there. Yeah. Also, Extraction. He did a great Iko Uwais type character.
Yeah.
And now he is he understand the assignment of these two, mean that Orion Pax still is looking for his purpose in life. Despite wanting more, he doesn't know what that is yet. And that optimistic flavor is there without the need of being the
You mean-
funny guy too.
You mean optimistic?
The oh my god, there's like a joke early on about transformation, very very early in the story.
Okay.
That you were waiting for me because he watched it a second time with me, right? You were
Ah.
waiting for me to laugh, and we did have a hearty laugh, like at the library. Remember at the beginning, the early joke.
Which joke was it?
Yeah, people have to see it. I don't want to
Ah,
spoil
okay,
it here.
okay,
You know what I'm
okay,
talking
okay.
about. What also helps Chris Hemsworth to get into this is the writing. And since again he understood assignment, they say no jokes, so no jokes. The jokes are very situational,
Yeah.
and again it reflects the particular scenes without disrupting the bigger story,
Yeah.
without pausing it. I love that.
Yeah. While Chris Hemsworth is good, and I said he's a worthy successor to Peter Cullen, but I think the one that shows the most gravitas for me, I don't know if you agree with me, is Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh yeah, dude.
You can feel his emotion, man.
Oh god, Brian Tyree Henry is another guy, just like Chris Hemsworth, has proven to be able to do comedic characters as well as serious characters. He is serious on this one.
Yes.
Again, they do have some comedic undertones a bit, and they do have a back and forth.
Yeah, they do.
There is like strong chemistry between Brian Tyree Henry and Chris Hemsworth in this one as two best friends, and Brian just like knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
The transformation to become this like monster is very gradual and feels very natural in a way. They remove unnecessary parts to get in the way of that, and they get straight to the meat, because we all know what makes a great hero's journey is also a great villain.
Yeah.
Not to say that the villain should be the end or be all. It's just that if the villain is great, most of the pieces will fall in the right place as well. And oh my god, Brian is so good. He sounds so menacing when he's angry. When
Yeah.
he's friendly, he sounds like he is giving you the warmest hug too.
Yeah.
Ilitawan, voice as Scarlett Johansson is fine. Like I said before, anyone can play her,
Yeah.
and it's a serviceable job.
Yep.
In terms of B127, they wanted to make a very talkative and funny Bumblebee, because mind you, he's not Bumblebee yet. He's just B127 from the beginning to end.
Yeah.
But they try to go for a funny type, and I think I'm fine with this because he is not the main character, but he's just extremely funny when he is towards the end, when he starts to find out his powers, but doesn't stop being a badass, man. It's like,
it's too badass.
oh god, so much fun. Okay, I have a little bit of problem with Keegan Michael Key in terms of his trajectory of his career. This is a little bit of a tangent, but if you see him compared to his counterpart Jordan Peele, where he's doing horror now, pivot to the other side from comedy to horror,
and doing behind the scenes work more than being
Keegan
actor,
is a little bit too tame.
Yeah.
He's staying a little bit too safely in this lane
Yeah.
of being the funny guy, even in a supposedly more serious franchise. And they told him to just be the funny guy again. Predator, was it? The Predator reboot.
Predators.
Is a reboot again,
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm not saying that he's doing a bad job here as B127. It's just that I feel like
himself.
I feel like a kind of like a Keegan Michael Key fatigue a bit. Like he was Toad in Mario, was he? Yeah. He has a very boring career. I think I want to see something more than him that goes beyond this, because I think Luther was pretty cool because he's like being an angry translator.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then kind of like also funny at the same time in an angry way. It's kind of like characters of South Park. take it everything seriously.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I love that one where he translates for President Barack Obama.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
And
And then there's like, dude, Lawrence Fishburne.
yeah, as one of the fallen
Yeah,
primes that survived.
he plays Alpha Trion,
Yeah.
and he's the one who gave them the Transformers powers. By the way,
Yeah.
there's like a what they call it?
The cop, the
The cop.
transformation cop.
The COG.
COG, yes.
So Lawrence Fishburne is like just the guy that you need to be telling ancient stories.
Yes.
Perfect. Like, well, okay. I'm not gonna say much. All I'm gonna say is this: if he didn't make it, the only plausible replacement for him is Morgan Freeman. That's it.
I guess I just miss my friend.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
Yeah, I guess.
And
Yeah.
then there's, oh god, Steve Buscemi. He is perfect as Starscream. Oh my god, he just sounds like Starscream. Like every Starscream that ever Starscreamed is him.
Look, that's Starscream, and you're Shockwave and Soundwave. Enough. Gosh, raise your hand if Wave is in your name. There's a lot of Wave.
I love Steve Buscemi. He's rarely in stuff, but when he needs stuff, it's like, oh god, I loved it.
I forgot how he sounds, but I guess it's a fine welcome.
So it's not a hello fellow kids moment. It's an actual I'm Starscream moment. And then there's John Hamm. Oh my god, the gorgeous John Hamm of Mad Men fame.
And Baby Driver. Yes, he was in
Yes.
Baby Driver.
Oh my god. Him as Sentinel Prime.
I think it's the for the type casting that he does. He's the right guy to play Sentinel Prime. Who won't spoil it for you?
Okay, this is a little bit weird. Arachnic, I think just like Elita 1, it's an okay performance.
Yeah.
But the character, oh
character
my
is
god.
very,
In
very
terms of like going back a little bit to animation, it's like, dude, that is who I want to be, man. If I am a robot, I'm gonna be that. That is like, oh my god. If Bumblebee is badass, she is badass cubed. Oh my god.
S Cube. Okay.
Yeah, that's like a 3 on
Oh,
top of that.
because yeah, I like how you say it like that because the robot is a triple changer. She's a triple changer transformer.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So I'm mathematically correct.
Yes.
Oh my god. She's so good. Like the best fights is with her in it.
Yeah,
He's such a man that she reminds me of the Winter Soldier the first time he came out in MCU.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like the first time you saw it's like, isn't she? Yep, she is. She is like, oh god. Yeah, that's the movie, man.
Yeah.
It is. It's such a simple, typical story, but the delivery is done so well. The world is so luscious. The animation is so fluid. The characters are so much fun.
And relatable despite them being
Yeah.
robots. Yeah.
Orion Pax and D16, they're very relatable. They're very human. And the best thing, there's no humans in the movie.
Yes.
See, you do not need the stupid humans to make a Transformers movie work.
You know the funny thing is about this. So the franchise's long time producer said this, okay? The gall of this person to said this, the producer. They finally realized that we don't need humans in Transformers. The Transformers themselves can carry the movie but on their own. That's what that person said for like the franchise moving forward. Dude, it's been 17 years since the first Transformers movie.
Oh,
You didn't just realize that? How stupid are you? You freaking suit and tie.
Yeah, that's
My
the thing
God.
too. If you are humans, a lot of other franchises and one-off movies have humans already. We don't
Yeah.
need that. This is like the Godzilla discussion all over again.
Yes.
You do not need humans. When you do have humans, you better be as good as -1.
Yes.
Other than that, it's like, dude, even Brian Tyree Henry in Godzilla, get him out of there, man. He's great at D16, but as a human in this, like a podcaster, is he?
Yeah.
In Godzilla, it just doesn't work, man.
Yeah.
Like, again, okay. Now I'm gonna say, you see all of these trends with kid movies, especially like Trolls and whatever. You have like Justin Timberlake, whatever. All this star-studded cast, and it's all for the sake of star-studded casting. This one, even though these people are not known to be like the voice actors of the generation,
Yeah.
they are mostly live action actors and star-studded. Actually, like a great cast,
Yeah,
like working together.
they understood the assignment. They really get
Yeah,
into the characters.
not just Chris. Yeah. Oh my god, they really get into the character. They sold the story brilliantly. This is a brilliant movie. I would say because it loses a point for me because of how a little bit safe some of it is. The story is too
I get it, I
typical
get it.
because you already know what's gonna happen. It's just that when it happens, it's still good. That's how you know it's good. You know, when you're like it is typical, yeah, but you know the version is great. So I don't have a problem with it. So I give it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10 for me too. Yeah, this is just perfect. And yeah, despite always say about it being violent, it's being violent. It's violent because it's robots, so it's still safe to watch with your family member, to watch with family. So go ahead, bring your kids along, because you know if you want to go to the moral route, there is morals to be had in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of morals, let's move on to the second movie, War Robot. War Robot is a movie that have like a lot of moral themes.
Mm.
Like for one, we can start with being kind for the sake of it. You know, I like Ellen DeGenerate. You should be kind to everyone, no matter who they are, even
Yeah.
if you know you might not get the same kindness back from them,
Yeah.
because for every single stranger that you help, other strangers could come along and help you instead. I live like not that long, but long enough that in my 31 years, especially during my early 20s, when I was in my diploma, I took bus rides and have stops, and you know, maybe I run off battery and even my power bank is out. A random stranger might say, "Oh yeah, you can charge something up," you know, or maybe you can't buy food because you have 20 cents less, and someone is like, "I give you my 20 cents."
Mm.
I even had like like somewhere like outside of my house, not that far, I was buying, you know, nasi lemak in the middle of the morning, and then someone just wants to split their 50 ringgit change, and I got free food because she's like, you know what, pay for him as well, just because I was there.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's nice, you know what I mean? And I am not like the nicest person, but I like to believe in, you know, karma, or in Islamic sense, qada and qadar, right?
Yeah.
When you help people, it might not be directly you get help back, but one day the universe will thank you in
Yeah.
like ways that you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Like I said, strangers is in the word itself. It's strange that they come to help. Like now, all of stranger is stranger danger. Like in the 80s, some strangers are nice. So say, you know, and a kind gesture doesn't have to be like a, you know, something that is so direct. You know, you can just like pay for like a an extra can of, you know, a soda, for the next person to just grab under there, or maybe you can give someone a smile or say hello to the stranger, you know, something like that. So the story starts with the robot that is called what is it, Rosem
Rosem.
something, right?
Which by shortened to Ros.
Shortened to Ross later on in the movie. It is voiced by Lupita Nyong'o, and this robot just crash onto like a bluff.
Like a remote deserted, no, deserted, a desolate kind of island.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
wild wilderness basically.
we learn immediately that this is a domestic helper type of robot, and it has really intelligent AI.
Mm.
And mind you, before you run away from this is truly what, if anything, if you want AI to be applicable to, is how it is applied in this movie. At least,
Yes.
if you look at it in the scope of the main character. So starting off, it's just a programming thing, but then
Yeah.
this AI thing becomes more and more human, so to speak.
Yeah,
Not in the best of ways.
as it observes what is happening around it.
So that's basically what happens. It's a sequence of her trying to see who ordered her, right? And who she could help. And the animals not understanding, and she is ironically making their day worse. And while each obstacle that comes her way becomes something that she can learn from. So she's essentially learning from animals here. I don't want to go too deep into this one because this is kind of like a sad example, but you can look it up. There's this one girl who is tied to a basement all of her life,
Okay.
and then her father just come in and bark at her every now and then. And as soon as she got out of the abusive household, all she knows how to do is bark. So she doesn't even know how to write everything, and she's still in recovery. She's an adult now. But we pass her on to different caretakers in different stages of living stuff. What I'm getting at is just like us humans, we learn by imitation, and that's what this robot does. If even early on, still during the first act, in the first, what I say, 1/10 of the movie already, it starts to do learning. You know, like apocalypse touching the TV.
What are you doing?
I think this makes more sense because
Yeah,
it's a
because
robot.
it's actually the robots is go stationary, and it records and observe all the animals and find like the middle ground, like maybe the English or the Mandarin of animals that all the animals can understand.
Yeah.
And then it keys in word, very reminiscent to like a side mission that you do all around your like entire journey in Final Fantasy X.
Oh, that
Yeah,
side
where
quest.
you start to
That side quest.
decipher
The
like
alphabet.
the alphabet language,
Yeah.
one alphabet at a time.
Yes, I remember that.
And man, that is so cool. I love it. When I talk about future stuff like I did about Transformers 1, my main concern is not that cars are flying. My main concern is what is practical.
Yeah.
Because if cars are flying, how are you going to manage the fuel? It's gonna burn much faster. And how are you going to justify everybody wants to fly in the air as opposed to people who choose to, go on the road? And if that's
if every car flies, would it be like just as bad as being in a traffic jam?
yeah, that's not practical at all. So I'm not impressed at all at the thought of cars flying. But I do like those fast tubes that they show in other movies. Like what was that movie? Like the movie where I think, was it like DreamWorks or Disney, where is it Robinsons, is it?
Mini Robinsons, that was Disney.
Yeah. That movie has a lot of like fun science in it, stuff like that. So yeah, this is so cool. And
Yeah, after doing some learning and adapting, and finally Ross gets to like understand the animals finally. So yeah, she she tried to help around, but she doesn't know how to. So
she doesn't know how to steal.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, language barrier is one thing,
Yeah.
but then there's culture barrier, and then you have to
Yeah.
understand that, to put it simply, different animals are like different races. They have different culture, they have different way of life, and there's also individuals. Like this one
Yeah.
interesting beaver that instead of creating beaver dams, he likes to,
chew on a
chew on a giant tree to try to make it fall.
Yeah.
I wonder what's gonna happen with that. Maybe one have to see the movie to find out what will
Yes.
happen.
And yeah, all that learning, trying to help didn't help out Rose's situation. So I guess she was trying to find her purpose until at one point she decides to like, I guess my job is done. It's time to go home. But then something happened.
So
Yeah.
so basically, she tries to get her antenna to call in headquarters to pick her up wherever she is,
Yeah.
right? And things keep getting in the way to the point that she had to go to some kind of hill or mountain, and then she roll downwards and crash land into a nest. And then she stumbled upon like one
Surviving egg.
surviving egg, and she decided, I am going to keep this safe.
Yeah.
I guess this is my purpose.
Because at that point, I don't think she learns of guilt yet. So she was like, oh, what when she discovers that egg is like a task for her. So
Yeah, because she's already is so destructive. So she's like imitating the feeling of guilt and responsibility that comes with that, rather than having actual guilt. Soon after, a fox called Finn, voiced by Pedro Pascal,
yes.
who was voiced beautifully, by the way. I couldn't guess that it was him. He tries to eat the egg, and Ross just keeps protecting the egg until it hatches. And then she stumbled upon a bunch of possums with the mother, and the mother explained the responsibility is not just to get the egg to hatch. Ross don't even understand that it was an egg. He just understood that that thing have some warmth in it, therefore life. Even when it hatches, Ross is like trying to put the pig, egg together because she doesn't understand the concept of egg hatching, right?
Yeah.
So when the goose finally came out, the possum mother realized what that thing is, and she taught her that you have to teach this thing to fly so it can migrate with the rest of the geese by the end of winter. So that is the whole like anchor to Rose's existence moving forward.
Yeah, and time moves forward. The geese grows up, and finally, at some point, the bird was named Brightbill, which is voiced by Kit Connor.
So in case you were excited, don't be too excited. But in case you were disappointed, don't be too disappointed. Because although Brad Bill as a Gosling doesn't take too much screen time, the cuteness level is so high octane.
High octane.
Right?
Cuteness.
The thing is, as long as Gosling grows up, you're gonna see more of the surrounding area and the community of the animals on the island, and you will find out that they're cute as well.
Yes.
And I myself am a fan of adult cats as opposed to kittens. I kind of find kittens to be like kind of icky. I can't wait for them to grow up, kind of way. I prefer more, adult looking cats.
I love cats all around, but I prefer them if they can revert back to being kitten.
Yeah, so
That's me.
what makes us opposites in a way, right? But then she finds out that Bright Bill wasn't conceived in the best way possible because it was
I think Bright Bill was hatching prematurely. So that's why.
yes.
So that's why
He
he's smaller than other
his
geese.
anatomy is very small, and
Yeah.
therefore his wingspan is not conducive
For
to
flying.
like flying long distance,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is thousands of miles when it comes
Which is
to
needed for migration. Yeah.
migration
Yeah.
before winter comes. And because of that also, as kids are cruel. Okay, I'm gonna say this. To me, in my opinion, kids are inherently cruel by nature. They bully other kids. They make fun of other kids. They even like to, I leave it at that. But it is not their fault that they're evil because they don't know much of the world, and so
Yeah.
it's the adults' responsibilities, not just the parents, also the teachers and also other adults, even strangers, to help facilitate these kids to like learn moral values, right?
Yeah.
To over time become better beings, better human, better in this case animal beings, right? When they grow up. So it is depicted very realistically, as I would say.
Yeah, it's weird how they adapt that human sensibility into
Yes.
animal kingdom, which is like,
I mean, it's not like it's not ever been done before. A
I
lot
know.
of like IPs have done that. It's just
But-
that this
but,
one does
yeah.
it better than most.
The relatability factor is like palpable in this movie with the cast of animals rather than other media
Yeah.
as much. Yeah, it's weird how they do it.
Especially if you've been through both sides. Like you've been bullied and maybe you bully some people here and there. And even if you're the kind of people who like just let it happen or witness it, like all of that, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of relate on this one. As Cruel as School Children, as the name of that album by
Gym Class Heroes.
Gym Class Heroes. Yeah, that was a fun album. But anyways, that's when Ross find out that there's more to the task. Yeah, not just keeping the egg like alive, letting it hatch,
But
try to make it fly. But now she has to understand that it's not simply because he is Bright Bill is not equipped for it, biologically speaking, and he is bullied for it. He's shunned by everyone. He's basically the ugly duckling, right?
So yeah, this is an ugly lucky story. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
For
as you can imagine, she found Longneck, a goose voiced by Bill Nighy, which I was like for a second like Bill Nighy, and that's another person. So Longneck is an elderly goose, but have some strength in him to lead one last migration, and he sees some kind of potential in Brightbill. As the movie goes on, there are other conflicts that comes along, and I feel that the movie has a payoff to everything. And it is very refreshing in the sense that other movies set up a lot of things but does not explore them, but then we just leave plot holes.
Snyder, I'm looking at you.
And then, like in the same day, mind you, when we watch Transformers 1, it does the opposite, where it has just two big arcs, but it just focuses on one, right?
Yeah.
It leaves the other open, but not in a spoilery kind of way, and not even in a like a what do you call it, a cliffhanger kind of way. In Transformers 1 does it in a way that this is the big arc we want to focus on now. You know that other one we're going to address later. It's kind of like if you watch Dune 2. The ending is kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Because it's not leaving plot holes. It's just saying that we have said that, okay, this is that the whole new arc, right? You're going to see. You kind of feel that it's too big to be told in one movie. So it kind of makes sense that as the story progresses towards the end and it's nowhere near touching the other plot, you're going to be like, oh, that's going to be for the sequel, isn't it? And they don't even dress it in the way that it becomes a cliffhanger that you have to watch the second movie. It's like they tie everything neatly in a bow and end it there. Whereas going back to the story of like Wild Robot, they do it in a way that they kind of have like small arcs, conclude everything. Everything have a build up, and it's like it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It covers all of the possible concerns that you might have.
Yeah.
Even leave some philosophical outcomes. Like some of it is like kind of left I would say ambiguous. Not too ambiguous, just enough to be like, if you're a kid, you watch it and you like the ending. But if you're an adult and you rewatch it, it could be like you will love the ending. It's like one of those. And okay, first let's talk about the animation, of course, because these two movies are animation, so I have to talk about it again.
So yeah, these two movies have like vastly different approach to the art style. So this one is continuing the approach of storybook kind of look, and
like the painting
like a
type,
painting, and
like a rough
when
broad
you
strokes.
watch this movie, it does feel like a storybook being unfold. So this is the best family movie, man. And also, like, I believe that, you know, in the first trailer of the movie, it was all visual storytelling. There's no dialogue.
Yeah, like to the point that I thought it's going to be a dystopian movie. It's not.
Yeah, I thought that too. And also, I thought that it could be something like, I don't know, French animated movies, they don't like dialogues. Even if there are dialogues, it's just as much as like or just like grunts or something. Not like actual dialogues. Like, yeah, for example, The Illusionist,
Yeah.
The Triplets of Belleville, those kind of things. I thought it was gonna be that kind of movie, but made by Americans. Like, Americans is going the European route.
Yeah,
of
that I
storytelling.
found out like what Lupita Nyong'o voiced the robot, so the
So-
robot has a voice.
So
yeah, like
how
all
does
the
this
time.
play out? So it turns out, yeah. I mean, you don't cast Lupita Nyong'o to not have a speak.
Yeah, she's
So-
excellent, man.
Yeah. So I mean, even if they decided to have like a silent cut with no dialogues, if they cut it right, I think it worked because the animals and all the movements are very expressive.
The if I would say the trailer is the exact opposite of the first Transformers 1 trailer.
Yes.
It grabs you in.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell everything, and it
Yeah.
kind of feels like the same people who made the film made the trailer.
Yes, it does feel like that. It feels very handcrafted.
And then
Yeah.
when you come to the movie, you're gonna find that there's even more to love about the movie. Like straight up when you enter the movie, yeah, I was gonna talk about like the opening sequence, right?
Yeah.
You straight up see, like I said, this is an alien stuff, and as soon as it got on top of the cliff, right, and it starts to enter the forest, you know, instead of Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, looking down, it is like looking onto the forest.
Wait.
And it looks like
Yeah.
very cool with all the vines and the trees and everything. It's like, wow. I can't wait to see what's inside the forest. That just encapsulates everything. You know that it's a robot that is self-learning. You know that it wants to help. You know that it hasn't found its purpose yet. You know that there's like a vast world to explore, and you know that it's very well densely populated. It tells everything
Yeah.
that you need to know.
Yeah, funny you should mention that you think it's post-apocalyptic. It is. Because at one point during the migration, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge submerged in water.
Okay.
So it is post-apocalyptic. And again, I'm doing the connecting thing again. Fink is voiced by Pedro Pascal. He's in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And the forest, the environment in this movie is very lush and beautiful, man.
Oh my god.
I'm crying. I'm like, if I want to like get lost in VR, that is the environment I want to see.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of like in a
I
weird
want to be
way
in it.
have like similar to Grandma, right? The Thai movie. In the sense that if you're not crying because of the tragic moments, you're crying because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, very
It's
beautiful.
oh god.
I mean, like
They do everything right. The environment,
Yeah.
the character designs, the montages are not too cheesy other than the song being a very
Yeah.
typical song for those kind of montages. Other than that, I really love it.
Like in addition to the already storybook looking visual, there's even like a short montage in there where it goes even harder on the storybook aesthetic. Like when the story when Fink tells about to young Bright Bill, like how Ross came to discover
Yes.
Bright Bill. There was like, this is so cool. They double down. It looks even cooler because it feels like we are unraveling a storybook.
Yeah, they already like telling a story as if it's a storybook, and then there's like a storytelling session
Yeah.
as if it's self-aware but not in a obnoxious kind of way.
Yes.
It is self-aware in the sense that it knows the theme, so let's dive deeper into it. Oh my god, man. The voice acting too. Okay, this is similar to Transformers 1. The I mean, I don't know most of them, but I can at least say in the case of Ross, played by Lupita Nyong'o, and Ping, played by Pedro Pascal, these are, I would say at this point, S-list actor. And there's even like a voice acting by Stephanie Su, who play a marvelous villain. It's like, you know, continuing her like villainous arc from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Dude, and then there's also Ving Rhames, like voicing like this one character called Thunderbolt. Oh my god, Mark Hamill, he voices the best. Okay, one thing I want to say about Mark Hamill, I like Ving Rhames, Lupita, and Pedro, and even Stephanie Su at this point. Stephanie Su is A-list. Ving Rhames, I think to me, Ving Rhames has to be S-list at this point. Just S tier, just like Lupita and Pedro, right? I would say they are great actors, and as for Stephanie, she's good. Mark Hamill, I don't find him as that great of an actor. To be honest, he's pretty okay for the standard of the 70s actor in the original Star Wars. And he doesn't have that many interesting roles. Like, was he in that stupid The Machine movie starring Bert Kreischer or something? Because there are some trashy movies that stars these S-listers because they're obviously phoning it in to get paid a lot. And maybe you can put this part here. You haven't seen it yet. I want you to see it. And now I just remembered. There's this one skit in Justice League Action, is it? All of the characters are voiced by Mark Hamill. Okay, Mark Hamill, to me, when it comes to voice acting, he's, oh my god, he's so great. I mean, he is fun in as the trickster. He played the trickster in back then, right?
Yeah.
When he was younger. I don't know about the old school Flash, but in the Arrowverse Flash, he reprised the role. It was pretty fun because it is more focusing on like his expressiveness as if it's a theater character.
Yeah.
So it's more like focusing more on his voice rather than his physical visual acting.
Yep.
That's why I love him as that role. Don't get it twisted. The Flash is a terrible show. He is not that great of a character. The trickster is not that fun. It's not that great, but it is fun, good fun on that one. And I'm focused on his voice here. Mark Hamill is like straight up. If Kevin Conroy is the number one Batman, Mark Hamill is the number one Joker. I love Mark Hamill. He as a voice actor, he's excellent. And even though his role is kind of minor, but when he does appear, he plays a literal large role because he's the bear.
Yeah.
I love Mark Hamill on this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, they got it right. And I love that we have got past the time where people are just, you know, James Corden or Anna Kendrick or whatever, I just hired to voice characters just because one is the funny guy and one is the pretty
Or
woman.
just that, like, for this of them being A-listers and S-tierers to you know,
Yes,
to
yes.
make in...
For the star-studded cast for the sake of it, to the point that they actually, I don't know, it feels like they audition for these roles, and even if they're not, they are really directed to do voice acting rather than acting.
Yeah.
Because it's a different feel altogether.
Yep.
It's a different medium. You cannot just, because you need to be as expressive as people on theater, but still translate to the visual of the people in like a normal live action.
I mean,
it's kind of weird. I'm not an expert.
It's not weird because I work at the dubbing company used to, you know, on a contract basis, and I saw them performing, and you're right, they have to act as much as an actor would when you do voice acting, because if you don't, the emotion that is needed for the character won't shine through. You need to act like if for example you're angry or you're eating something like, so what's up, doc? You actually need to munch something while you
Or work with the like a sound effect department. Well, right?
that I haven't experienced myself, but I mostly see the voice recording process.
No, I'm just saying that I'm just assuming, roughly speaking, maybe sometimes they have to work with the,
Maybe I don't know. I don't know if they go that far. I only see the voice recording part.
but
of
but I
dubbing,
also know that, you know,
the
in a
dubbing
way, if you
process.
look at some of these behind the scenes,
Mm.
if there's two characters talking, you need to really look at each other,
Yes,
so the
yes, yes.
voice bounces the right way. The
Yeah.
positioning, if you're standing, it sounds like you're standing. If you're crouching, it sounds like you're crouching.
Yes.
It's the room echoey and everything like that. All of that counts. That's why voice acting is so different from acting, and in this case also different from theatrical acting.
Yes.
So these distinctions are important, and I am glad that these actors are able
To
to
voice act.
to voice act as well.
Yeah.
They're very good for the parts they have been given. Oh god, Pedro Pascal, he's very fun as Fink.
As a sly fox.
Yeah, he's straight up like, oh my god, he is kind of like a prankster.
Yeah.
Like he's a fun character.
I mean, he has an arc, but he's a prankster through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Lu Toyongo, yeah, she's terrific as you know, initially being a robot,
Yeah.
and then as her programming and protocol doesn't work anymore, and she has to do her own thing. That's when the humanity somehow
Shines
shines
through.
through. So we feel her as being like this adoptive mother trying to take care of a baby that is not her own, literally because she's a robot and the baby is a geese.
A goose is
A
white.
goose,
Geese
yeah, a
is
goose. Yeah.
plural, right? And the thing is, part of the other morals, right?
Yeah.
Like I said before, some people, even though you are not directly related by blood, can also take it upon themselves, to adopt and everything like that. But your treatment to a child have to be the best possible, as if you are the biological parent.
Yeah.
These are very obvious morals, and I don't mind that it's obvious, because this movie is clearly made for kids, but not in the condescending kind of way. It's an intelligent movie that adults can very much as well.
Because that part of like being like motherhood aspect of it, it's very applicable for parents because I mean, I'm not trying to shame parents. I'm not a parent yet myself, but some parents forget how to parent their kids properly and how to like nurture them
Yeah.
to be the best, child that they could be. Not just like, just like you need,
Passing the responsibility to other people.
you need to guide them through and through as much as you can
Yeah.
until it's time for you to let go of them.
Sending them to school is not enough,
Yeah.
right? And that's the second morals. And then the third one, I think it would be similar to the first one actually. Do unto others what you want to be done to yourself, right? You want to treat others the same way.
Yeah.
you know? Because it's the principle of the thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have enemies and revenge isn't even a thing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you don't want to collect enemies.
Yeah.
You want to have as many friends as possible, and if there's like toxic people, you either cut them off, because technically speaking, if you don't like people and they are toxic to you, you cut them off. You kind of want those people to cut you off as well.
Yeah.
So again, with that same aspect, right? Like the fourth moral is maybe open burning is bad.
Yes.
The fifth is, I have to say, in regards to AI, when you look at the main character, Ross, like, dude, this is a character, mind you, that is voiced by a woman, by a
Yes.
female, and she is not condescending in that kind of way.
Yeah.
And this character is very much so relatable, in the sense that, if you think about it, AI is a tool. It's not who made the tool. Like, for example, this company, which I can just leave it as a greedy company, right? Or like a vicious company, so to speak,
Mhm.
that owns this. Because this AI starts to learn from the animal and starts to learn humanity from the pieces of this animal, right? And from these animals, because that's exactly like kind of like how we are. We start to learn from animals and start to learn from each other. That's how we
Learn
become
from
better.
nature.
Learn from nature, right?
It's hard to wait,
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's kind of weird saying like that. But the thing is, right? So she becomes like a human, and so she's like kind of like an AI that becomes human that use her own AI to function, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're using the tool in the right way, you can, complete task in like a effective manner without having to resort to rely on it 100%.
Yeah.
And if you can see Ross, on top of everything else, she is willing to get a little help from her friends.
Yeah.
And she is very good at being independent, but at the same time know when to call it quits, in the sense that, ego is not worth anything if it means lives are going to be lost.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So again, morals, like graphics, their fight scenes too, mind you,
Yeah,
it
there's
is
action scenes,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Cute animals, really well grounded main character, like really fun and god, memorable side characters. This movie has everything. He covered all bases. This is the kind of movie that I want to see time and time again. And when people, like I said, like a movie that to me blows my mind, I say like it's perfect. People are gonna think Dune. And to me, yes, but that doesn't have to be the only kind. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
bleak all the time. It can also
Yes.
be
Uplifting.
hopeful, uplifting, fun, bright, even made for kids. If Transformers 1 is a great movie about friendship and betrayal, this one is about community building and hope for a better future in a bleak world.
Yes.
Even when you say it's dystopian, what I like about this movie also is during the time where
No, it's not dystopian. I said post-apocalyptic.
post-apocalyptic. I like it because it moved past the part where the human world at least has fallen,
Yeah.
but then there are other humans that tries to already start farming, and now they have built AI robots. So this is, in a way, even though that's like a monster of a corporation, in a way, you're gonna find out later, that part of it is typical. And again, it doesn't have to be not obvious, because to me, the more obvious it is, the easier for it to be consumed by the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
family.
You can-
Everybody can like get in the same headspace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, some common ground.
It doesn't. It doesn't have to have taboo, right? This one that doesn't have any taboo things at all.
No,
Everyone
I don't think
can
so. I don't think so.
so that's why I say 100% everyone can enjoy this. And the thing is,
Actually, the most thing that they consider taboo, but not really, because it's about survival of the fittest, right? So I think there is like some issues of mortality, but they even let's say what happens to when this.
same with the movie also made my DreamWorks, The Last Wish.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Like
Oh.
these past two movies by DreamWorks. Oh my god, I can't believe this. Unfortunately, it's gonna be the last one, right?
Yeah,
Animated movie
No, I mean
by
this
DreamWorks.
is the final one that we make in house.
Oh, then they will like, okay,
I have
outsource.
outsource
Alright.
moving forward.
The thing is, right? These two movies are able to be movies that kids are able to consume safely, and on top of that, you still have an adult theme that even kids can relate to, because sometimes you have to kind of like react to if there's a death in a family. Kids have to also be equipped to be emotionally ready for death and understand the concept. Adding that to the what do you call it thing? Object permanence lesson,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like how we humans live here temporarily, but we are permanently going to, go back to being dirt, right?
Yes.
Eaten by the worms and go back to like the entire world and it always cycle back.
Yeah, it's
All
a
those
circle of
things and
life.
such, yeah, circle of
Yes.
life type of deal. And in that sense too, even though the corporations are kind of like
Corporations, yeah.
corporation in this case, at least they depict just one. I like the fact that even they are fighting for a brighter future in their own way. Maybe
Yes.
they're doing it a little bit too aggressively, but the way they go about it is simply focusing on something sustainable.
Yes.
Like, for example, farming.
Yeah.
Like they have oranges, tangerines there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then AI helper robots.
Yeah.
That to me is sustainable because they will learn from, even when they see the neighbor's robot, how to do more stuff more efficiently. Just
Yeah,
look
they
at that.
self-learn.
I don't like the idea of when people think of AI is always Skynet. It's not
Yeah.
always going to be like that. There's positive sides of it as well.
Yeah.
And because this movie just covered every single basis in a perfect way, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Like, no contest. Like, no. I think, unless you have a stick up your ass, this is a perfect movie.
Yeah. Fun fact, before I give my also very obvious score, this movie is written and directed by Chris Sanders, who is the guy who directed, I don't know if he written it, but he directed Lilo and Stitch.
Oh.
Interesting, right?
Like,
Yeah.
that's why they have the family theme as well.
Yeah.
Community,
Ohana means family. Right?
family,
Yeah.
some friendship as well,
Yeah.
right, between Ross and Fink. And yeah, even if you think about it, co-parenting.
Yep.
That
Yes.
is another thing. Like, how can you co-parent? Because you have to understand, I have a friend, who is co-parenting a child. Just because you're exes doesn't mean you have to abandon your child, and doesn't mean
Yeah.
one have to stop being a father and the other have to keep being a mother alone, or vice versa. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And in this case, dude, Fink and Ross is like
Great
very
co-parents.
platonic through and through.
Yeah.
That is like refreshing too. Just because you're co-parenting, you don't have to be romantically involved. That's that as well. Man, I love this movie, man. It's so good that I stayed for the credits. And mind you, there's an after credit scene, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's small, and straight up I'm saying you, it's not like let's say, oh, this is for the sequel or anything like that. But it is fun.
Yeah.
It is worth the wait because even the credits, just like Tampopo, keeps you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not like Tampopo,
No.
it's not vulgar.
Yes, yes. So, he obviously give the score of 10 out of 10. It's obvious I'm also going to give it a 10 out of 10. So, please, this is the kind of movie we were like, when you see it, oh, no one's going to watch this, huh? I feel like this kind of movie, but knowing that, Malaysian parents, especially these days, they're like very privy towards, Western stuff that is like unsuitable for the kids. This is totally is suitable for your kids.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
So yeah, perfect 10 for this movie
Yeah.
from us. So that's it. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Peace out.